Today we're going to break down film from Game 1 between the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers and show how Nikola Jokic was getting his offensively in the first three quarters, but then the adjustments that were made by the Lakers on the defensive side of the floor to really limit him and force other guys to make tough plays. If you do enjoy this kind of content, leave a like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and dive into the film. So this first play is just an example of the drop coverage that Anthony Davis was running a lot when he was guarding Jokic, as you see here. AD's not really getting up on the screen at all. So that's giving an easy path for KCP just to drive to the bucket. And he ends up hitting the pull-up jump shot, which he had a very good game, and he was hitting tough shots like this all game. And then next, it's going to be a similar action, but this time a dribble handoff. Just look at how far Anthony Davis is. He's not even shading. And this is Jamal Murray coming off the screen. And this is how wide open he's going to be after the fact. So this was an issue early on in the game. And you can't leave a shooter like Jamal Murray open, especially the way Denver was shooting in this game. Everybody was hitting shots from downtown. This next play, just an example of Jokic as a passer. Had 14 assists in the game. You can't double team him because these guys cut like no others. And Jokic is one of the best, if not the best passer in the league. Now you see that play. And this is an example of AD having to overhelp. Be a little too aggressive. And that causes an easy drive-by lane for Jokic. Still made it a pretty tough finish at the rim with the left hand because AD is one of the best at recovering, but still a nice finish there. This play, pretty much the same exact thing. AD having to overhelp, be a little too aggressive at the point of attack. It's going to lead to an easy spin and then a dunk for Jokic. Now, I watch a lot of Anthony Davis with the Lakers when he was with the Pelicans since he was in college. And I don't think I've ever seen him run this much drop coverage in one single game. You see, it's going to be a dribble handoff action once again between Jokic and Murray. And AD is pretty much going to stand in the same spot. Pretty much going to stay in that same spot. And it's going to be another wide open shot. Or my bad, that was Aaron Gordon up top. But it's going to be a wide open shot for Jamal Murray. And that's just kind of inexcusable, man, because AD is one of the best when it comes to switching on the guards. But it's the fear of Nikola Jokic rolling down to the paint, another dribble handoff action to a wide open jump shot. We'll run that back real quick. Pretty much the same thing. These guys have chemistry like no other. And he's just going to curl around. Reeves is going to be too far behind, and Jamal Murray's made a living off of taking this shot. I mean, just look at the space. The space there, the space between him and Reeves. Reeves doesn't even get a real contest up off of it. And that's an easy 2 points. And that was really the story of like the first three quarters for these teams. There's going to be another example of Jokic's passing, which, as we mentioned, 14 assists in game one. But it just shows how difficult it is to have AD as the on-ball defender on Nikola Jokic, which is why we'll get into later the adjustments that were made. But I was surprised to see AD guarding Jokic so much. This is just going to be an easy, simple slip of the screen back cut for KCP. And that's how he got most of his points, was just sprinting, finding open cutting lanes. And Jokic, if you cut, he's going to find you. Pass on target, no rim protection there, easy lay for KCP. Now, this was one of the rare times where Jokic was actually used as the ball handler on the screenplay. KCP is going to set him the screen right here on AD. And it's going to be drop coverage pretty much again. Right here. Come back off the curl. Dennis is going to try and fight through the Jokic screen. And AD pretty much 2 feet in the paint. And KCP, we already saw him hit a pull-up jump shot earlier. He's just going to get right to this spot, hit another pull-up jump shot. And that's where just a lot of the points were coming, a lot of the offense was coming, was putting AD in pick and rolls. Whether it was a handoff or Jokic as a screener off of a hand. Like, it was just pretty much the same story, for the Nuggets in the first 2.5 quarters of this game. There's been a lot of KCP action in this game. He had an amazing game one. And Dennis kind of caught with a decision here because, as we've seen so far in these clips, Jokic has gotten his off in one-on-one situations against Anthony Davis, who is one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the league, has been that in this postseason. And Jokic has been getting his in one-on-one situations. So Dennis has a decision. Do I go help or do I stick to KCP, who has been lighting us up all game? And we're going to see Jokic just subtly get into the post. And as soon as he sees Dennis dig just a little bit, KCP's open enough to where that's an easy pass. It's just a one-touch pass with the left hand. And while Schroeder did get a contest up, but the way KCP was shooting in this game, and really most Nuggets players were shooting in this game, like that's way too much space. That's way too much space for KCP just to load up and shoot the three-point shot. He had an amazing game. Now, this is where things change. Obviously, in that last clip, which we'll go back to real quick, that three made it a 20-point game with about 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Made it a 20-point game. We fast forward here, 11-point game. Lakers made a little bit of a run within the last, 7 or so minutes of game time. And this is the first time in any of these clips where Anthony Davis is off the ball with Nikola Jokic on the floor. And this is the first time we've seen in these clips, which I went through every single clip of Jokic's touches. First time that Rui is the guy matched up with Nikola Jokic. And this gives the Lakers the ultimate freedom defensively to dictate what Jokic has to do with the ball in his hands. It gives them the ultimate freedom. So as we see in this play, it's going to be a tough drive. That is a tough shot. And it's just the presence of Anthony Davis being off the ball, protecting the rim. Because in the first half with AD guarding him in this position, this was either a layup or a dunk, as we saw in the clips earlier. But with Anthony Davis there, who's one of the best rim protectors in basketball, probably the best help defender in basketball, Jokic kind of has to stop and throw up a floater, and that's a tough shot. He can make those, but that's a very tough shot, and you live with the results either way. Once again, in this position, Hachimura got the assignment in the fourth quarter, and this is something that I hated on Denver's part, is Aaron Gordon being in the dunker spot, which we'll get to that in a little bit, but Anthony Davis, he's not really worried about Gordon being down there. All eyes on the court. Everybody is zoned in on Nikola Jokic. And Anthony Davis is not going to budge. It's going to be another tough shot for Jokic to take if he wants to take it. It's going to force him to a decision. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's try and pass it down low to the dunker spot. And the pass was a little too airy because Anthony Davis was there. Anthony Davis's presence right there. He's not even worried about Aaron Gordon. He's not looking at him. Fast forward a little bit. And also, the rotation by LeBron makes this such a tough pass. Yeah, you are giving up something in the corner. If Jokic was able to see this, which is surprising, him being one of the best passers in the world, he didn't see that. You are giving that up. But LeBron's help defense rotated at the perfect time and forced his pass out of bounds. It was a great defensive play. And as the game's getting tighter, these plays matter so much because the Lakers are on a roll. And a bucket here might have really stopped all the momentum, but it didn't. Catches at the high post again. Once again, same matchup. I'm expecting to see a lot more Rui on the floor throughout this series. AD, help spot again. Another thing I hated, not one time in the fourth quarter did Aaron Gordon set a ball screen. Not one time did he set a ball screen with Anthony Davis guarding him, which was the best part of their offense in the first half, was using whoever was guarded by AD as the ball screener. They did not do that one time down the stretch, and that's something that Mike Malone has to either see, or it could be a case where Aaron Gordon gets played off the floor in the fourth quarter and we see a lot more Jeff Green or Bruce Brown in that position. It's definitely a possibility. But this right here was just another amazing play. This is going to force Jokic into, I think, a tough fall-away jump shot. That's a tough shot. Jokic can make that. He can definitely make that. They didn't end up getting an offensive rebound. Jokic can make this shot, but just Rui beating him to the spot, forcing him to spin back this way and take a fadeaway, tough, one-legged, contested two. I mean, that is contested perfectly. They did everything except for get the rebound there. Everything except for get the board. And once again, this is where AD's at his best. And Rui did a great job. This is going to be forced out to a pass, I believe, to KCP. And that's a tough lay. You live with somebody like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who had an amazing game, had one of his best playoff games that I've seen him play. You live with a shot like that. Like, you absolutely live with a shot like that. You can't let Jokic beat you because he already has 34 points or 32 points at this time. And you got AD down there as well. Now, Aaron Gordon was open backside, but, that's a tough shot. You kind of live with those situations. I think what we learned from this game one the most is that this should be the matchup. The matchup should be Rui guarding Jokic for the majority of the game and let AD do what he does best, and that is roam, play that free safety role, and just be the eraser at the paint, make Jokic pass out to those corners, make Jeff Green hit shots, make Aaron Gordon hit shots, still make KCP hit shots, Bruce Brown, make those guys hit tough shots, whether they're open or not. But you can't let Jokic beat you, because if he's scoring like he was and facilitating like he was, there's probably no way that the Lakers win this series. But there is a way if they can make him dictate more to his teammates, more to the Jeff Greens, to the Gordons, to the Caldwell Popes, to the Bruce Browns, the Christian Browns, the first of those guys, and they have a chance. But I was very impressed with the adjustment that Darvin Ham made, and I was impressed with Rui defensively, and I think he's going to play a big part in this series.